This week, we are going to talk about trauma and the impacts of trauma or traumatic events. Maybe it won't necessarily be PTSD, but these negative experiences that we go through, how those things impact our health, our mental health, our physical health, how those things also impact our belief systems and therefore impact our actions, our reactions, how we feel and get motivated by things, why sometimes certain negative experiences or traumas lead us to act out in our addictions, lead us to act out in a way that we don't want to, even though we know we don't want to, how sometimes those internal belief systems impacted by trauma then gear our reactions and actions in a way that feels like autopilot, feels like we're out of control, feels like what is going on here, and learning how to deal with those things and talking about some simple ways that we can start to address them, right? And we do not have to do this alone. Reaching out, maybe speaking with a therapist, someone who is trained with trauma informed care or who understands the kind of the way that the brain works and understands how this impacts our actions and behaviors, who can have that connection or that empathy for you, can be very freeing as you try to face and overcome these things. And like we've talked about in the past, having a very extreme experience, extreme emotional experience tied with a belief or an idea can then sear that into our brains where we have this 180 shift all of a sudden, right? Our behaviors, our life view, our actions, our habits can shift in a moment based on one instant. Now that's a very powerful thing that if we could apply that and use that for good, that would be great. But in many cases, it seems like that happens in the negative much more than the positive. And again, we're going to be talking about how the brain works, how it is focused more on that negativity, more on the things that can hurt us, kill us, and destroy us, than the positive, more than the things that we can appreciate, the things that we can enjoy. Learning how we face these things, learning how these things impact our brains, can then free us to, when we turn to them or when we face triggers or experiences similar to that, we can choose a better way. Now, that being said, we will have to train, we will have to kind of face fears and have the courage to overcome, but it is possible. At any point in our lives, it doesn't matter if we've had this experience since we were babies or kids, our brains in the neuroscience world, they say it's plastic. It's malleable, moldable. It's something that can be flexible and adjusted. We can continue to learn and overwrite past kind of scripts and lessons with new, more hopeful, more realistic ways of thinking and believing. I don't want to minimize some of the terrible things that have happened to people, because terrible things do happen. That's part of this world, is we suffer. We go through things that are terrible and horrific, things that nobody should ever experience or see. And yet, through those experiences, we can adjust. We can be brought back up and see the world in a much different light, from a different perspective. And that will change the way we act and behave, react and believe and feel and engage with those around us. This is going to be a heavy week. And today, all I ask is you take some time, that if you've been through some experiences, whether they be trauma, whether they be just bad experiences that left this bad taste in your mouth, things that haunt you, or things that just make you cringe, feel embarrassed or ashamed, think about those things. Kind of maybe write some of the feelings, emotions, or write down, make a list, just a brief, not detailed list of, these are some things that have bothered me. And in this coming week, we're going to talk about how those things impact us, how when we have them, how those impact others around us, or things that we may have done to impact and hurt and traumatize other people, and our process of helping them out, of maybe engaging with them, or supporting them, or adapting and accommodating to what they need from us. Again, take some time today, write down, what have I been through? What have I experienced? What have I done? And think just briefly, what are these things, and what would I like to think or feel or believe about the world, about people? kind of going forward.